So many of you may have seen the segment that went viral yesterday where Don Lemon, Rick Wilson, and Wajahat Ali were mocking, belittling, and just laughing in their condescension at how dumb Trump supporters are. There's a few updates. I'll go through the context. Basically, they were talking about this NPR interview where Pompeo essentially challenged some journalists to find Ukraine on the map, and she did. And then Rick Wilson, who's a never-Trumper conservative, I guess, said something like, you know, Trump couldn't even find Ukraine if there's a letter U with a little literal crane next to it. Not even a real joke. Like, in what way is that a joke? I mean, fine. Just because it's a bad joke doesn't mean it's not a joke. I get it. But Don Lemon goes nuts. He starts laughing and hooting and hollering. And so Rick Wilson, seeing that his joke landed, I guess, doubles down and starts mocking Trump supporters doing a Southern drawl, being like, you know, Trump's a smart one. Y'all elitists are dumb with your... And then the other guy, watching Ali, is like, you elitist with your geography and your spelling. So they thought it would be funny to do this mockery of Trump and his supporters. Well, this led to a bunch of responses that, you know, Rick Wilson called it fake outrage. But now we're seeing the latest update. Don Lemon has issued what can only be said as like a fake apology. It's not really an apology. He's like denying wrongdoing. What was the point of addressing having mocked and belittled Americans if you weren't actually going to apologize for it? We have the story from Fox News. And so we're going to engage in some good old-fashioned CNN bashing. Because I'm also going to, there's some other news, you know, Fox News hitting all-time, or its highest ratings in 3 years, the best ratings it's had in its like history, while CNN fizzles and, you know, kind of burns out. So I'll tell you what, man, this is exactly what they needed, right? That Don Lemon clip got like 11 million views. But let's read the story because they make some really, really funny points. Fox News says Don Lemon addresses CNN panel mocking Trump voters. CNN anchor Don Lemon, who, let me just add, once asked whether or not a black hole could swallow an airplane, appeared to be on the defensive on Tuesday night after a panel discussion mocking Trump supporters went viral. He said, "This is personally important for me to address this, okay? Ask anyone who knows me. They'll tell you. I don't believe in belittling people, belittling anyone for who they are, what they believe, or where they're from," Lemon said towards the top of his show. During an interview on Saturday night, one of my guests said something that made me laugh. And while in the moment, I found that joke humorous, and I didn't catch everything that was said. The anti-Trump anchor added, "Just to make it perfectly clear, I was laughing at the joke and not at any group of people." They say it is unclear what specific joke Lemon was referring to. The first joke was at the expense of President Trump, while the rest of the jokes were at the expense of his supporters. Let me just stop you right there. I don't know. What's the point of Don Lemon trying to address this when he didn't apologize? Just don't say anything if you're not gonna apologize, right? But let's just break this down. I think Don Lemon's a liar. I don't take him seriously, right? He was laughing at the first joke, and they kept saying more jokes, and he kept laughing. So yes, he was laughing at multiple jokes. You know what, man? I don't care if you want to laugh at Trump supporters. By all means, go ahead and do it. Put on your Southern drawl. But what's really funny, because I did cover this on my on this channel the other day, is that there's a New York Times poll, or not really a poll, but a survey. They asked people to find North Korea on a map, and Republicans were more likely to be able to find it. Now, independent voters were the most likely to find it, so I'll take credit there, right? But the Democrats were the least likely. So who do you think you are? Like, how do you get off mocking, you know, Trump supporters as morons and laughing at them? But here's the real issue. Look, man, I don't care if you want to tell a joke. I don't care if you want to make fun of somebody. Go ahead and do it. The issue with what Don Lemon did was that it's the perfect example of 2016, and it lends itself to this other thing SNL did, which is really funny. I don't know if you saw that viral clip. It was called "White Male Rage." This woman. It's really cringy. It's like, what is SNL doing? She's playing clips from Joker, explaining what it is, and then all of a sudden just stops and goes, "White male rage, and that's it." And I'm like, what's funny? Somebody tweeted this. They said, what's ironic about SNL mocking, you know, the Joker is that it's literally a movie about an out-of-touch TV show host mocking and belittling the poor. And that's literally what she's doing. But both of these are an example of something that Trump will absolutely love to see. That the elites have not learned anything from 2016. In fact, they double down. They're living in this weird bubble where they just mock and belittle Americans. You know what's crazy to me? Vox ran that story in 2016. The Democrats have become the party of the wealthy, and they just don't realize it. It's really hilarious to see these BuzzFeed reporters and these, other digital media reporters who make somewhere between like $40,000 to $90,000 a year, complaining about how their benefits aren't good enough, how they're not paid enough and all that stuff. And I'm like, man, you realize there are people who live in New York City who make $12 an hour, right? It's just so funny to see the uber elite rich people so completely out of touch with the rest of America. And that's why people love to see Trump win. You know, it's like Michael Moore said, that the American people were sick of it and they were going to deliver the biggest FU in the history of the world in 2016. And he was right. Now, Michael Moore's kind of gone nuts, so we'll leave it. We'll leave that at that. Let's read a little bit more because I do bring up another funny point, and then I want to get into how Fox News is doing well. They say, later on during a panel discussion with about the dust-up between Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and an NPR reporter, Lemon went on to defend the journalists who get it wrong. We're not perfect. When we get it wrong, we say we got it wrong, we apologize, and we move on. On Monday night, a panel discussion went viral and faced intense backlash for mocking Trump supporters, so we know all this, right? They go on to explain this. So one of the important updates too here as well is that like Wajahat Ali, and I'll show his tweet in a second, is trying to deflect, saying, "But we were actually criticizing Pompeo, who was insulting a journalist. It wasn't about this." I don't care, dude. Look, man, people get mad. It happens. Deal with it. You make fun of someone. Look, I made a series of videos talking about 30-year-old feminists who can't find dates, and they got really mad. And they started passive-aggressively tweeting at me, and I laughed about it. I'm like, dude, look, man. For me, my intention isn't to mock or belittle or insult. I was actually reading data and making points as to why I thought these things were happening and what would result from it. And they got mad about it. So they started dragging me and insulting me, posting screenshots, calling me incel, whatever stupid insult. I don't care. You know what, man? This dude, these people are so bent like, oh, no, we insulted people and now they're mad at us. Yeah, welcome to the world. Like, what else is new? But here's what I like. I'm not going to read through everything they did, but they bring up something funny. But I'll get there first. They say others on social media mocked CNN as they pointed out the viewership difference between the network and the viral clip. Because the network got 713,000 views and the clip got 11 million. The most telling thing about the Don Lemon segment is no one commented on it when it aired. No one watched it. That's from Stephen Miller. And here's one from a Twitter user. It said, underrated, hilarious aspect of this is that it took 2 full days for anyone to notice, and it got more attention being tweeted from an account with 20,000 followers than it did when it aired on CNN. So here you go. Fox, this is from yesterday, Fox News primetime ratings for January 2020, highest since November 2016. That's crazy. I mean, their ratings were high in November 2016 for an obvious reason. It was the election cycle. And now their ratings in January are up. I'll tell you what, man, they all know the Trump bump is coming. For in this election cycle, and they are loving it, absolutely loving it. I'm willing to bet CNN loves the outrage over what Don Lemon did. This is what he does. Did you see the viral clip where Don Lemon's all like, oh, are you people insane? What is this? Oh, heavens. Oh, well, I never. There's a viral clip where he was commenting on like a meme. And they do this. Don Lemon is not a newsman. It's like they try and claim that they're credible rational news agency. So I'll give a shout out to Brian Stelter and Oliver Darcy. You guys love to rag on Fox News. Are you kidding me? Come on. You're the same thing. I mean, I gotta be honest, even Fox News isn't that bad when they, mock and laugh at. But here's where it gets really funny. Coming off that last point, no one noticed they did this. Nobody was watching. I'm willing to bet those ratings, that 713,000 was like 90% an airport or a hotel lobby. Apparently CNN pays airports to run CNN. Yikes. But I guess, hey, you then go to the advertisers and say, listen, we're going to run that ad for Coca-Cola, and we are in every airport in America. Oh, yes, the airport demographic. Yep, that's how they do it. So I don't know if there was a report saying they paid like millions of dollars. I don't know what the exact numbers. I don't care. But while nobody noticed this until someone, I don't know who this person was who initially found it. Why were you watching Don Lemon? I have no idea. Tweeting it out. We now get to learn about how Fox News is winning. So, I bring this up because CNN is the example of the really nasty person. Here's what I said. Like, if you're a really nasty person, I'm sorry. If you're a really nice person and you slip and fall in some mud, everybody wants to pick you up and like, oh man, they help brush you off. And they're like, oh, that nice guy, he fell. We're going to try and help him out, right? Well, CNN is the snooty elitist in the room who's like walking around acting like they're better than everyone else. Like, it's like the Globo Gym from Dodgeball. And then they slip and fall in the mud and everyone just laughs. Yeah, sorry. Your ratings are trash. Okay. Now I'll give a shout out here, to be fair, Tucker Carlson frequently calls Brian Stelter a eunuch, and I think that's detestable. I routinely criticize that. There's no need for that. And I don't know why Tucker Carlson would do that when he simultaneously talks about how he's not going to rag on someone for their opinions, but, because everyone has opinions, but he'll stick to the facts. Well, there's no reason for you to call someone a eunuch. You know what I mean? He's making a point. The point is, Fox News isn't perfect by no means. But what CNN did was that was out there. Well, Fox News is doing better than you. So at this point, even with Tucker Carlson saying stuff like that, they can be bombastic. I don't care. You guys deserve it. CNN is trash. That Sunday morning segment on media where they bring on Media Matters and then act like they're telling people the unbiased truth. Spare me, dude. As much as people like to claim that I'm objective and unbiased, I won't even say that. I do political commentary, and what Brian Stelter does and CNN does is the same thing I do, but they pretend like it's reporting. Fox News is giving you the spin. Tune them out. Watch us. Nah, man. Anybody telling you that is trying to sell you snake oil. It's like a cult, okay? I'm not going to say CNN is a cult, but it's what they do. You see it with Antifa and the activists. They'll say, don't talk to anyone. Heaven forbid you hear an idea. No, I'll tell you the opposite. I'll say, hey, watch them. Because then you'll know I'm telling you the truth. But watch your critics. See what they have to say. And then you'll be better equipped to argue and fight against them in the battle place of ideas or whatever. But let's take a look at Fox News' ratings. And then I got a really quick update on BuzzFeed. I think BuzzFeed is about to go under. Maybe not. That's not fair. They're expecting profitability, but something's happening. They say, Daily Caller, Fox News Channel won big in the ratings this month, with January giving Fox News Channel its best month for primetime ratings since 2016 November. Fox News Channel has marked yet another historic milestone, notching its 18th consecutive year as the number one cable news network. I'm pretty sure it's the number one cable channel, period. They say, according to Nielsen, the release notes that Fox News Channel scored its highest rated month in total viewers since February 2017, with total day and November 2016 with Prime. For the 43rd straight month, Fox News crushed all of basic cable in total day viewership with 1.7 million viewers for the month of January. In prime time, they were the most watched network in all of basic cable with 2.9 million viewers, dominating ESPN. That's amazing. They say Fox News personalities like Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, and Laura Ingraham, and the network in general have all benefited since impeachment drama started this fall. Yeah, but here's the thing. So has, CNN. They do say other networks have not replicated the success. I'll tell you why, though. The Trump bump exists. But when you get years of Russia insanity and Fox News was right, guess who I'm turning off? And guess who I'm turning on? More importantly, man, the most frustrating thing to me, you'll see this. Go to my Instagram. Go to Instagram.com/Timcast. Follow me if you haven't. I'm not super active, but there are some clips you'll see if you scroll down. What I would do, and I do this to my friends all the time. We got Fox News on. And Fox News, they talk about Trump. They talk about impeachment. Of course they do. They're conservative. They're political. But they do talk about coronavirus. They do talk about, Hong Kong and Iran. And so when something comes on, like there's like a weather story, and it was like severe weather, in Texas, I asked my friend, what do you think? They're talking about weather, right? That's important. It's travel season. What do you think's going to happen if I put on CNN? I don't know what. Trump, right? And so I do this every time, and without, it never fails. Never failed. Never failed me once. I've done it like 30 times. I'll be like Fox News. They're talking about Iranian protests, and CNN, Trump. All they do. All they do. It's all they got. And you know what? They're struggling and they're grasping at straws. But hey, I guess they would rather become the Orange Man Bad Network, as the Babylon Bee called them, than defunct. I guess. I get it. Here's my favorite part. This is a story from at the end of December. Fox News, its highest viewership in network's 23-year history. CNN finished 22nd, with it not even breaking 1 million viewers per night. Oof. I'm pretty sure I get more than 1 million viewers per night on my podcast. So I don't know what that means, but I think it's fair to point out on YouTube they do ridiculously well. So relative to cable TV, sure, I can play that game, but I think if I was going to compare CNN to my channel, CNN's doing like 1,000 times better than I am. But at least I can still say it like that. Their TV channel nobody watches, but they watch me on here, here on YouTube. I'm going to wrap up with one more quick shout out in the media space, because BuzzFeed Ben, the editor-in-chief of BuzzFeed, of BuzzFeed News, is joining the New York Times and leaving BuzzFeed News. And this struck me as odd. He's going to be joining the New York Times as a columnist. Now, I know many of you may be saying, Tim, I don't care. But hold on, listen. Give me a second. Why would someone leave the highest position at BuzzFeed's news branch to become a columnist? I mean, it seems like a major demotion, right? Unless BuzzFeed News is stagnating and or sinking. Now, here's the thing. According to the news, I guess, we have an Axios story here from a few days ago. They're expecting BuzzFeed to turn a profit this year, but not BuzzFeed News. And here's what you guys got to understand. The stories we see about, Gamergate or wokeness, that's BuzzFeed News. BuzzFeed produces the weird woke stuff too, but that's like weird listicles about like, what kind of banana are you or something, and it's like, are you a small plantain or a sweet, Chiquita banana? I don't know, whatever dumb listicles they do. Ben Smith ran BuzzFeed News, and I'll give a shout out for some respect because I think Ben's actually a pretty decent dude. There are some things I disagree with him on, but whenever I take issue, he always responds, and that is tremendously respectable because at least I feel like he really does mean it and he really does engage. So I will admit, I do have some concerns because he does seem like, for all his faults, he's kind of a stopgap to stop BuzzFeed from going nuts. But he's leaving. And so some of the speculation is that as much as he might try to deny it, they say this. Many within the industry have been left the impression that BuzzFeed's news division is hardly a growth area. Indeed, the initial reactions I got from media gossips about Smith's departure tended to assume that he was moving on either because of stifled ambition or an acknowledgement that his operation was no longer an expansive one. Do you guys know that Vice News got really big and then eventually it just laid off most of its staff? That very well may be heading to BuzzFeed News. Look, we've seen many of these digital outlets lay off tons of people and fall by the wayside. And now we've got the editor-in-chief jumping ship going to the New York Times. I think it's a fair bet. Now, he denies it. He says, no, of course not. But I'm not going to take his word for it, man. Look, I've played the game. The PR person calls you, the journalist calls you, and they say, why would you leave the company? You say, everything was really, really great, but I'm on to greener pastures. The company's going to do great, make all this money. Nah, we all know it. We know why people leave. If he went from being the head honcho, BuzzFeed News is pretty well established. Why leave from being the top to go be a columnist? I don't know. But I will admit, this story is less relevant in the long run, so I'll wrap it up. Ultimately, Don Lemon, fake apology, wanted ratings. CNN eventually will cease to exist in some capacity. I think it may very well be that CNN's ratings are going to keep tanking. Nobody watches TV. I have it on as kind of like a backdrop. When I'm working, I might hear something pop up. It's just another news feed. But I will say, I guess so long as they have that airport contract, they'll be around for some reason. But if it's true that the ratings are really driven by airports and hotel lobbies, then CNN's real ratings are probably 40, 50,000? How many people actually turn on CNN? I mean, a lot of people watch it in the airport, but if they're counting that towards ratings, yikes. I got to say that. So I'll be fair though. I kind of think they don't. I don't think they count the airports because there's no one choosing. How do you measure that? No idea. I think Nielsen goes by households and stuff. So, I mean, it would make sense if they were getting 900,000. But 22nd place. And so long as they want to be the elitist, snooty news network, go for it. You're going to see your ratings continue to shrink and, eventually cease to exist. But hey, so long as YouTube keeps giving them advantages and propping up corporate media and yes, even Fox News, then they got nothing to worry about, do they? I'll leave it there. Stick around. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. at youtube.com/Timcast, and I will see you all there.